Welcome back. Now is the time to look at prefix and postfix operators. Okay, so what that means is we are going to create a new class. We're going to look at prefix, postfix, increment, decrement. So big long name, relatively simple concept. Okay, so to start out, we're going to look at one variable, one integer. Let's say int x. And we're going to set it equal to 10. And below that, we're going to say to print that. And we can see that the value 10 is printed out. Now, an increment or decrement operator ends up looking something like this. The plus plus. Now, what this basically stands for on its own is that we want to take the value of x and increase it by 1. So this increases the value of x by 1. And I can run this, and you'll see it creates 11 as the value for x. I can also add it beforehand, though. I'll still get 11, but the difference between that and that is slightly more important than you'd think. So let's see what happens. Well, if I do 2 of them in a row, I'd obviously get 12, increases to 11, increases 12, prints it out. Let's say what would happen if, and I'll comment this out, I did it inside of here. Would I notice a difference? Let's see what happens if I put it afterward. I get 10. Huh. What happens if I put it beforehand? I get 11. So you can see that before it does anything with the variable, if I have a prefix operator, it will increase the value and then use it in whatever expression I'm dealing with. If I have a postfix operator, it'll do whatever I'm working with first, and then after it executes that command, it'll increase the value. For instance, here, the value of x is definitely 11, but only after I've printed it out. So this is sort of an interesting thing to do with these incrementing operators. What would happen if I used a minus minus instead? Well, if I say x plus minus minus, again, because it's coming afterward, I start out with 10, and then after I execute that line, it goes to 9. And then you can see it prints out. As opposed to if I put the minus minus beforehand, this again, this would mean that x is decreased by 1, decrease x by 1. It does it on that line, on that same line. It does the decrement, and then it uses it in whatever expression or statement we're dealing with. As opposed to when I postfix it, it'll use it in my statement, and then it'll decrement or decrease my value. This is all I'm going to be talking about with these operators, but you can see they end up being pretty useful, and you'll see them a lot in the future. But there is a difference between prefixing and postfixing these operators.